Hello everyone, welcome to day one of coding class. So this lesson is going to be very short because this is just a very basic introduction. Content will be actually covered in future lessons. This is just a basic understanding of what we are going to be learning. So let's proceed. What are computers? A computer, if you don't know already, is an electronic device for storing and processing data, typically in binary form according to instructions given to it in a variable program. Now all this sounds very complicated, doesn't it? Now don't worry about that because everything will be explained. So, an electronic device for storing and processing data. So, you know what data is? It's information, all kinds of information, digital information that exists. It can only exist in the internet or in a computer. So that's basically what a computer is. It's a device powered by electricity that stores data. And then this data is in something called binary. Binary is a language. It's called computer language. It's a language that only computers can read. So computers store all this data in this language. It's you would be familiar with it if you knew zeros and ones. If you've ever heard of binary, then you would know that binary is written in just 0 and 1. And all these zeros and ones form patterns that the computer can read. Obviously, we as humans cannot. We use actual languages. We speak English, Chinese, whatever. But computers, the language that computers use to communicate, to read to each other, is called binary. And then in order to store or process this data, this information, we give the computer instructions. It reads something called a program. What a program does is that it makes the computer do something. So in this program, we write out what we want to do, we give it to the computer reads it out in binary, and then it does it. And that's all a computer does. It's very simple. Now, a machine is also a machine that can be instructed to carry out a certain task, like sequences of arithmetic or logical operations automatically via computer programming. That means that a computer can be programmed to just do whatever you want. It can carry out a certain task. And the way you do this is by programming it to do that. And these programs are just generalized sets of operations, as I explained before. They're just series of instructions that you give to a computer to make it do a certain task. Now, a further in-depth look of what is programming. Programming is the process of designing and building an executable computer program to accomplish a specific computing result or to perform a specific task. What does that mean? That just means you are programming is the process of creating a program to accomplish something. You just if you could say that I'm creating a program when I take a piece of paper and a pencil and I'm writing out what I want the computer to do. That in itself is called programming because you're writing out what you want the computer to do in a program. Now, one of the most important concepts to note in programming is the concept of automation. Automation is automating a certain task or to make it do it by itself with minimal human assistance. So what that means is that if I want to um, use a calculator, for example, right? Calculator, a calculator is the automation of human thinking of arithmetic operations. Meaning, if I wanted it to do 1,000 plus 1,000, well, I could think in my head, that's 2,000. But I can also use a calculator. 1,000 plus 1,000 equals 2,000. I don't have to think. You won't have to think of actually solving it by yourself. That means minimal human assistance. It's just making the computer do something that you can or cannot do, but if you can do it, it makes it do it much easier. And that's like a calculator. It automates it. It automates it. Now, some common coding languages you can use to program are Java, Python, C, C++, C Sharp, JavaScript, HTML, and PHP. Now, all these are examples of coding languages, and they all have their own differences and unique abilities. The one that we're going to be learning is Java because it's very simple to learn, it's very simple to use. And one thing to know about Java is that it is the most commonly used language of coding language in the world. If you're a programmer, then you most likely use Java, and that's why when we're teaching it to you, because so that you can use it all the more. Now, Java as a coding language is obviously the most popular. It's simple to learn, and one concept that's very important to learn right here in Java is called OOP, or OOP. That stands for Object-Oriented Programming. That's going to be explained further in future lessons. For now, you should just know that this is just a concept that exists in Java, and it's important to know. Another thing is that it's secure. It's more secure than other languages. So say if a hacker were to get on your computer, they would have a harder time accessing your files than if you were to use, say, another language, like a weaker language. So it's secure. And then another thing that programs can run across any device with Java, meaning you could download Java on any device and then you would be able to run your program. So it is cross-platform. You can use it on whatever device you want. Now, just a basic understanding of how Java works. Java revolves around the concept of OOP, or object-oriented programming. So basically, what an object is, it's just data, right? Objects contain data, and then another important thing to note is that an object's own procedures can access and modify the data fields of itself. Meaning, the object programs, you can program the object to modify itself, to change the different parts of itself. And obviously, this is just a very general outlook. Everything's going to be explained further into detail. Now, Java compiling. Now, Java compiles the source code, meaning the code that you write, into bytecode. This bytecode is compiled into machine code using the Java Virtual Machine, or JVM, and then the computer executes this code at runtime. What does this mean? This means that when you write your code, right, it's called source code. Source code is the code that you write. It's like you're all you're doing is writing your program. Now, Java will compile this into bytecode, and this bytecode is just think of it as just binary. And in binary, this binary is compiled into machine code, which then the computer reads, and then the computer knows what to do. You write you write all this program, you give it the instructions. The computer now knows what it's to do, and now at runtime, when the code is being run, it executes all this code. What execute means is that it's just um it's just reading out this code that you wrote and then actually doing it. That's just a little coding term. It's called execute. And when we say that a program is being run, we would say something like along the lines of this program is being executed. And then runtime is when the code is actually being executed itself. And that comes to the conclusion of our little introductory lesson on Java. And hopefully if you like this, you can go on to watch my other lessons, such as Java Day 2 and so on. But hopefully by the end of these lessons, you will be able to code basic code in Java. Um, and remember that that coding in itself is not a simple task. And if you ever get stuck, don't give up and just look to others for help. So thank you for watching this little introductory lesson on Java. And yeah, I hope to see you in the future.